The featured fight, the co-main event, and the main event of UFC 315 all had underdogs winning. Overall, UFC 315 was an interesting fight card. We had a couple of snoozers, we had a couple of bangers, and we had a title change hands. So now the question becomes, what's next for the UFC 315 fighters? My name is Angelo. This is Josh Thomson, and welcome to the What's Next episode of Bad Takes. How we doing, Josh?
I'm here to give you the worst take I can possibly give you. The worst take. And that's going to be that Islam is going to fight JDM. That's the worst take. It's already been written in stone. There's been a holdup in the lightweight division. And what did we expect if JDM won? Who is he going to fight? The story writes itself. I don't have to say anything because this guy's already been match made. It's over.
What's funny is Ariel and others are like, nah, that's just misdirection from Dana. We're still going to get Islam and Ilya. And we could talk about Islam and Ilya. Because so Islam's just going to wait now another 6 months instead of just fighting now. Like he could fight at International Fight Week in 2 months and fight Ilya. And if he loses, who cares? He's going up.
No,
instead he has to wait for JDM.
If you lose to Ilya, there's no way he's getting an automatic title shot at 170. There's just no way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he would
lose that. So, and why even take that chance? A chance of being the double champ. This is my prediction, though. If he does feel good and he does win the title at 170, and he doesn't feel like he's too big or too small, then I think he'll stay at 170 and he'll vacate the title for whoever is left. Whoever wins between Charles and Ilya or whoever else they decide to match up. This is what's really surprising to me is that Arman Sarukian is the number one contender. He's number one.
They're just like, fuck that
and they're just bypassing him. Talk about, he's turned down some fights, and, obviously the problem that he had with his back going out, at 3
Yeah, sure.
But regardless, how do you not have him fight Ilya? I don't get it. You're number one guy, have him fight the guy. And stylistically, Ilya talks like he can stop everyone's takedowns. But Sarukian is such a dog of a wrestler, he couldn't stop Islam's takedowns. What makes you think that Ilya is gonna? It doesn't make I want to see that fight. That should be for the interim title, if you want to call it an interim title, and then that should become the real title once Islam beats JDM.
The annoying part about all of this, and we'll get to all the matchups to make next, but the annoying part about all of this is you and I talked about Friday. Tiffany and I are supposed to be going to UFC 317 International Fight Week. Mm-hmm. There's no main event announced. It's sort of an unofficial foregone conclusion that it will be Ilya and Charles Oliveira, right? For the vacant 155 belt or the interim belt, potentially. We don't know which one yet. So that's what's unwritten. Yesterday, I went to go buy the tickets. We had booked the flights already. We did the hotel. We did that stuff on points, whatever. I didn't buy the tickets yet. Regular tickets are not readily available. The VIP tickets are. I've done VIP with Jacob. It's great. It's basically the price of a regular ticket and then a little bit more, and you get seats at the weigh-in, seats at the press conference. You get access to this whole VIP lounge with unlimited booze and food, and it's a really cool experience. And it's not that much more money. I waited like an idiot. They released the tickets a week ago. I waited. Yesterday, I'm sitting with Tiffany for Mother's Day lunch or whatever. I was like, we were talking about the trip. I'm like, yeah, let me look at the tickets. The only price tier they had, the lowest price tier they had left was $5,000, $5,200 a ticket per person. And I was like, Tiff, this is 10 grand. This is 10 grand if we want to do the VIP. I'm like, this is crazy. They haven't even announced the main event.
Wow.
And so all the 2,000 and those price points gone. Those sold out instantly. And I'm like, so I'm literally at the point where I'm like, do I even want to go? I could buy, I don't have to do the whole VIP thing, but that made it such a better experience. But it's like, damn, do I really want to spend, by the time we do the tax, $11,000 at this point? Just not the whole trip. The whole trip, fine. That's just for the 7 hours fights are on. It's like, dude.
Sorry, man. I would pick a better pay-per-view to go to. Look, and this is what I think is going to end up happening for the pay-per-view. It's going to be Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gahn. It's going to be them, and then it's going to be Ilya and Charles.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where it's not a great card. And there's a couple fights they've announced already. The whole card's not announced yet. So we'll see. And the UFC has slapped together some craziness pretty quick, right? They did this at UFC 300. UFC 303 is the International Fight League last week. They put that together. So we'll see what happens, but it was very deflating yesterday when I looked at the prices, I was like, dude, this isn't even reasonable. It's not like it's a little expensive. Like, this is an unreasonable amount of money. It's not a Connor card. Like, what are we doing? It does suck. We do have a super chat about the fights. Connor Soul says Islam is great and shit, but his champ record tainted a bit. A 45-pounder, the GOAT of 45, but still some say he lost. Another 45-pounder on short notice. And then DP, who's DP? Oh, Dustin Poirier, sick, but 2-2 going into the 5th round. And then Hanato on short notice. I'll let you defend. You guys, if you guys don't know,
okay, let me
Josh
give you
is a sim for the Dagestanis.
What you do, this is what you do. Is you have to remember is that he doesn't turn down a fight except for this Ilya fight. And the reason being is because guys like you, and I'm not knocking you at all, simply put, is that guys like you complain that he's fighting 45-pounders. That's why he's not fighting Ilya. Look, there's going to always be another guy. There's no different than having this conversation with John Jones. I said, look, no matter what you say about John Jones, he's had a great career. A lot of it's been tainted by the PEDs, but the bottom line is there's going to be a Tom Aspinall. And then when after Tom loses, there's going to be another guy. And then, he retired before he fought the best guys. Like, that's going to be the argument no matter what you do. And that's what the way sports work. That's just how they go. And in terms of like, it was 2-2 and going into the 5th with Topuria, this is where I want people to understand. He may be a better fighter at 170. That weight cut is killing him. It's always killed him. It's just, he walks around 192, 194. There's an argument to be had because he's about 5'11", 6 foot. There's an argument to be had that he's probably a natural 70-pounder.
Yeah, he's too big.
He's a big guy. And so I think, that's why I think that if he wins this title against JDM, which I think he's gonna, I think he ends up subbing him. I think he ends up controlling him, dominating him. I think he ends up catching him in a submission at some point in this fight. What's going to happen is he's going to be like, look, the weight cut is just too much now. I'm going to stay at 70. He'll probably defend it 2 or 3, maybe I'd say 2 times, and then he'll probably retire. The guy's got more money than he knows what to do with right now. Because people are like, oh, yeah, his fighting career, he's making money. Bro, these guys are making so much money at every appearance they do in the Middle East. Like when they're in Abu Dhabi, when they're in Dubai, when they're in Riyadh, when they're in Saudi Arabia, like they're cash cows. These guys are getting gifts, that they didn't know what to do with them, asking them if they want Ferraris delivered to their house. They're like, where am I going to put it? Like they have so much, they don't need the money that they have.
Do they spend money? Do they really just live in like shacks and mountains? Or they have like
no, they don't live in shacks and mountains. Calm down. Calm down. If you've ever been to Saudi Arabia, I've been to Riyadh. I was there for the first PFL Champs of Champs thing. They've got huge houses that are all obviously, with big walls and fences and stuff. But it's obviously one of the safest places in the world. People think it's like just some shithole. No, man, it was pretty damn awesome. Everyone was super nice. The food was spectacular. Although I don't eat camel, but the food was
eat the camels.
They eat the camels, yeah.
I ate kangaroo in Australia. They eat that.
Yeah. I mean. I don't, for some reason, like to me, eating kangaroo sounds a little bit better than eating camel. I don't know. Just like I was in China and I was having some soup, and then they told me but then they told me I was eating dog, and I was like, oh, it just got real nasty right away. I was like,
instantly. Instantly. Even turtle. I wouldn't eat turtle either, even though turtle soup's like a normal thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Something you just look at as like a pet, right? Like, I'm like, I'm not. I don't know. For me, it's strictly like cows and pigs. But even pigs, I kind of don't really, outside of bacon, I don't really eat pork. I don't eat pork chops or anything. Just does not really my forte. I grew up eating pork chops, just don't eat them now. To go back to his question, he's gonna, no matter what, there's gonna be ways to taint it. There's gonna be ways to say that his legacy, but he's got the most title defenses in lightweight history.
And to your point, he only said no to this matchup, which is kind of bullshit. But it's not his fault that Arman dropped out. That's not Islam's fault. He was ready to fight. The Volk one, I mean, what was the issue? The first fight made sense, champ versus champ, whatever. The second time they fought, what was the deal with that? Why did Volk have to? Who was Islam supposed to fight that Volk showed up? Oh, Charles. He was supposed to fight Charles, and then Charles. So like they're weird circumstances. It's not like he's picking and choosing. Same guy. Connor Soul sent another $9.99. I'd agree if he beat like Jones, but he beat King Green and Hooker to get the shot. So he's talking about working his way to the title. Islam is great, but I think he should fight more 155 pounders. Islam is the best 155 pounder, but the reign is ass, in my opinion. It's funny because people make the same, and you're touching a nerve with Josh. These are his people. It's people made the same argument with Khabib. Khabib's not the GOAT. Look who he beat. And it's like, I understand if you zoom in on specific names, but once you factor in the circumstances, it's like, well, show me who he lost to. Like, you know what I mean? At certain points, like, he beat who they gave him. It's not his fault that A, it was a weak division, or B, there was lots of drops in circumstances.
What you have to remember is this: champions will fight anyone, anytime. Khabib had 5 opponents change hands that week when he fought Ali Quinta. 5 opponents.
Yeah.
And literally one of them was Max Holloway basically saying he's going to get there. And then the opponent changed the morning of the fight. And he said, I don't care. Bring King Kong and I'll fucking fight him too. Like, you guys have to remember, this guy has worked so hard. All of them have worked so hard. Not just them. Every champion's worked so hard to become the champion. And then have 5 opponent changes in 1 week and still say yes and then still dominate. I mean, I don't understand what the argument is. Some of these guys, they're like, no, I only have 2 weeks. Well, you should have been training. What do you mean? Like, if you've got to always be willing to say yes, every single time you got to be willing to say yes. The Islam situation, he's saying no to Ilya because Ilya's coming up from 45. And I think he's already beat Volk. Volk was considered to be the GOAT. Like, oh, he's beat Max several times, and Max beat Aldo and this and that. Like, there was an argument to be made there. And the first fight, sure, it was a little close. It was whatever you want to call it, but it wasn't that close. It was 4-1 on the scorecards. Everyone tried to make it out like he lost. No, he won the fight. It was 4-1. It wasn't 3-2. It was 4-1. And then anything you make outside of that, like, he doesn't want to keep fighting these 45ers. Why has it? Look, Armand dropped out. He was trying to fight Charles Oliveira the second time. Justin Gaethje, he's asked for that fight because it's someone he hasn't fought before since Armand's in the bad graces of Dana White. Max Holloway went back down to fight Ilya when he should have stayed and probably got the next title shot. He should have stayed.
He's a good example of not ruining, but he chased the wrong title shot.
Yeah, absolutely. He should have fought Islam. He should have. And then going back down, I mean, going up, he put the weight on properly and then decided to go back down. It was a huge mistake. I tried to tell Big John that. He said, oh no, a guaranteed title shot. Bro, you just knocked out.
Yeah, but now look what it did. Yeah, and he might never get his chin back. We've seen people get knocked out, and that chin's gone forever. Like Max Holloway might not get that chin back. Maybe it was a one-off thing, maybe not. Look what happened to Volk. Got knocked out again. Obviously, it almost happened.
I'm not fully sold on the Volk thing just yet. Give it some time. I think another 1 or 2 fights. And I'm a huge Volk fan, man. But
I mean, it was almost gone with Diego Lopez in that second round. Diego just didn't.
2 brutal knockouts. And then, I mean, I thought he fought a great fight his last fight. Good on him getting the title back. But like, he's already beat all these guys. He's beat Justin. He's beat Dustin. He's beat Dan Hooker. Like, Gamrot's not going to beat him. Can't wrestle him. I mean,
Gamrot's chinny too.
Yeah. So then you get down to Paddy Pimblett. Like, really, I'm going to wait that long? He's ranked number 8. Like, how much longer? How many more times I got to beat these guys in the lightweight division? I'm just being honest. If he goes to 70 and he wins the title, I'll probably look for him to vacate the title at 55. He'll say, let the peasants fight for it. Ilya can have my scraps, just like Ilya tried to do with the 45ers, down there at 45. So, let them fight over my title, right? Yeah. Bottom line is that I think Islam is probably going to see some success up there. I give him a little bit of a problem with some of these guys. He'll have a problem with JDM, or not JDM. He'll have a problem with Sean Brady. Sean Brady can wrestle. Physically strong, good jiu-jitsu, can handle the strength. On the feet, it's going to be a little bit, it could be a little bit back and forth. You don't think so at all?
I'm on the opposite side of that. And we're breaking down the wrong fights. We'll do the other ones. We're live. We're hanging out. No big deal. I'm on the opposite side of that. I would assume, Jacob was all over JDM. He staked his reputation on JDM's winning this fight.
He was slurping him up.
Yeah, he was.
Hey, but he was right.
He was 100%. He was right, like exactly how it would happen too. His whole thing was Belal takes people down against the cage, not in the middle of the mat. He's not going to get JDM against the cage, and JDM is not a quitter like Leon. So where I'm going with this is, you said that you think Sean Brady could hang with Islam because he could also wrestle. I see it the exact opposite. I see it as Islam is better than Sean Brady at everything Sean Brady does. So he's not going to hang. He's literally better than him at everything. Where JDM is at least better than Islam at striking. So if he could defend a few takedowns, like, you know what I mean? Like that, there is a superior skill set in that matchup where there's not with Sean Brady. Islam's the better striker. Islam's the better wrestler, the better grappler. Like, he's just better at everything. So my brain goes the opposite. Like, well, no.
Yeah. That when we get to that fight, we'll break it down. But I think as of right now, I think the JDM and the Islam fight is the fight to be made. I think what you're going to see is you have to remember, Belal is trying to take JDM down with double legs, press against the fence, that type of thing. No success. But that's not Islam. Islam will literally get you to the clinch, foot sweep you, inside hook you. He'll get double unders. You know, he'll try to lift and elevate with his knee, and then he'll foot sweep you. He'll put you on the ground with upper body takedowns, which takes away your striking ability as well. Because if you start trying to strike me, then I get double unders. I elevate you. I can foot sweep you, bounce you off the cage. Those are all things that JDM is going to have a hard time with. In terms of the striking, do you think JDM's a better striker? I would say yes, he's probably a better boxer, but he's not a better kicker. He's not going to be able to, like, Islam is also a southpaw. How does he handle fighting a southpaw? Kicks come from a different angle. Do you dip that side? I got to look more at JDM, his style. Which way does he dip when he throws his jab or his right hand? Does he lead right into the head kick? I've felt that head kick several times in training, and I even called it out. I said, with someone like Volk or someone like Ilya, that head kick's going to come. It's going to come early, and it's going to come often. And I think at 170, he's going to be a better fighter.
I agree. I think he will. I agree. He should be better at 170 because the biggest issue with Islam is his cardio. Like, we've never seen him He's never pulled a Jose Aldo, right? We've never seen that, but we've seen him slow down. You know, we've seen him sort of end up. That's how Volk had the success he had later. You know, so at 170, hopefully he carries the same, you know, muscle, speed, power, all that, and then adds the cardio because he doesn't have to cut the weight. So I think. I mean, now if we're talking matchups to make next, and we're talking, let me put this on the screen, and we're talking, I was going to go the opposite direction, but let's go this direction. And we're talking JDM versus Islam. I agree. I do think Islam wins because I think he will get the takedowns that Belal couldn't. So I do think Islam ends up double champ. And I think JDM will struggle to keep it on his feet. And like, Belal took JDM down. And JDM did an unbelievable job, not really accepting position, scrambling back up, getting, you know, and moving again. But Belal's control, like, Belal took down Leon Edwards 7 times. The only way you get 7 takedowns is because your opponent stood up 6 times. That's not, who's standing up on Islam, who's just getting the hell out of there. And I think that's going to be the difference. If he gets JDM down, he's going to keep him down. Yeah,
see, there's the difference. Like with Khabib, right? When he would take you down, he would control your hips. He would gather your legs. He would make you pay for being stuck on bottom with ground and pound, nasty ground and pound. Islam is not doing that. Islam's going to baby punch you a little bit, some maybe 1 or 2 hard strikes, but he's working his way to a better position because he's such a superior grappler. So when I look at him and I think of how he can control JDM, what he'll do is he'll go for attacks in the submission area, which is going to keep JDM's back flat on the ground. He's not going to be able to mount any type of offense to get back up to the feet when I'm trying to attack a guillotine. Then you sit to your butt, you start trying to fight hands. You can't get up without your hands. So if I'm on that front headlock and I'm hitting a Darce, or if I'm hitting an Anaconda, or if I'm hitting a guillotine, what are you doing? You're fighting the hands so you don't get choked. If you're fighting hands, you can't push your hands on the ground to get back up. He knows exactly what he's doing. You know, he works that front headlock, works to the Darce. He'll attack Kimuras. He'll attack side chokes. I mean, he's got his whole repertoire of submissions from the top position that people they have to focus on defending. Otherwise, they get submitted.
So if we're talking matchups to make next, obviously it's basically been said, not signed, that it will be Islam fighting JDM. Let's talk about who Belal should fight, and then I have an an alternate theory here. So Belal Muhammad obviously put on a solid performance. You went a little viral for railroading him and his game plan. You said he was Ronda Rousey and MMA Junkie, and a few other outlets ran with that.
I was a little upset. I was upset. The fact that, no, I didn't call him Ronda Rousey. What I said is that, did you let your coaches like Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, they gassed her up. Yeah,
they gassed her up, and she got knocked the fuck out. In this case, like, there was no reason. Look, and everyone's like, "Oh, you weren't giving JDM the credit he deserved for his takedown defense." You guys, He didn't shoot one takedown in the first. And when he did, it was like a kind of a half-hearted one. It was like, okay, you're so close to me. Let me see if I can grab your leg. Didn't get it. He didn't shoot one takedown in the first. The second round, he saw, I think, just one. Then the third and the fourth, he started realizing, look, I lost the first 2 rounds. He knew in his mind. Then he started wrestling more. By then, JDM was so comfortable out there. It's hard to stop the momentum of someone being so relaxed and so comfortable. And then you've also worked double hard to try to keep this thing on the feet and outstrike him. And you got hit a lot. And as you're getting hit, it's no different than watching a video game. Your fucking energy level is going down.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Like every time you get hit right in a video game, your energy goes down. That's what happened in that first 2 rounds. His takedowns were not the same as they would have been. What you want to do when you're the wrestler, you want to shoot early and often in the first 2 rounds to really make them defend, and then now it's fresh in their mind the whole time. Shit, man, he's grinding on me. Shit, he keeps shooting my legs. Now you're afraid to let your hands go. He did it the other way around, backwards. He should have started early with the wrestling, let the hands go later on, because then JDM would have been afraid of the takedowns. That didn't happen, and it cost him the title.
I agree with you. I completely agree. That should be the game plan, because then you get in the other person's head. They're questioning. They won't fully commit to anything because they know shots go. I will say, I don't think it was as much, because your Ronda Rousey thing was, to simplify for the watching folk, was that Ronda Rousey was having so much success, and her coach, Edmund Targaryen, was like, dude, you're the best boxer in the world. You could beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. And then she went out there and got smoked, just smoked when she tried to strike with an actual striker in Holly Holm. And that was a comparison you made. Like, hey, Belal Muhammad had success striking with Leon Edwards, and his coaching staff was like, go strike with him. You could strike with JDM. I would say, I don't know if that was actually the game plan. I don't know if they literally were like, strike with him. I think Belal, there was definitely some ring rust. It's been a full year. I watched with Jacob, and he was like, dude, this walkout's weird. He looks nervous. I think there was a little bit of that, but I also think it was more struggling with, when do I shoot? When am I going to shoot? Like, I don't think he was, I'm not shooting, here's my game plan. I think he was literally like not feeling it. JDM was just so mobile, side to side, pumping jabs out there, teasing the uppercut. And I feel like Belal was just not comfortable like shooting right then and there. And he didn't start shooting until he's like, I have no other choice.
He had plenty of opportunities in the first 2 rounds to shoot. Plenty. He just didn't do them. He had talked so much about keeping it on the feet. He said it. I'm not shooting. I don't need to. I can stand with him. I'm going to knock him out. Look, he had that in his mind. And then when he started getting touched a little bit, it's like, oh shit, this is a little bit more difficult than I thought. Look, I'm a huge Belal fan. I don't care what people say about him. He's a good dude. He's fun to watch fight, because I like those guys that are just aggressive, tenacity. They come forward, and
pressure's crazy.
Yeah, they push. I like guys that you can tell athletically, he's not gifted, but he made the best out of his career. John Fitch, I loved watching John Fitch fight, because he was always grinding on people, making them they were second guessing their life choices inside that cage when they fought John Fitch. That's just the reality of it. Like, they were like, man, how the hell am I in this cage with this guy just getting my ass beat right now? Not athletic at all. Guy couldn't run a fucking 6'5" 40. That guy's so slow. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, Belal was one of those guys that athletically shouldn't be champion, but he was. Sure. So I gotta love those guys. I guess for me, what do you do with Belal?
I think you wait till Atlanta and you give him the loser of Buckley and Usman.
Okay. I think that's a fair thing. I said earlier, I was talking with Big John about this. And I said, look, I like the Colby fight, even though that's way down on the bracket, because Colby's number 8. There's a lot of animosity between the two of them. I like that fight. There's also some animosity between Usman and Belal. And so, but they're both managed by the same guy. I'd like to see that fight. So, look, either one of those guys, I was thinking about Ian Garry, but I'm like, not really. But here's the thing. Ian Garry keeps inserting himself in like, oh, I'm ready to fight this guy. Bro, your fights are so boring. People talk about Belal's fights being boring. This dude runs like he's so boring. It's like honestly, it's like MVP on steroids. I love watching MVP fight because he tries to knock you out with big shots, flying knees. Ian Garry doesn't do that. He literally just trying to touch you. He's playing Taekwondo in the Olympics. Just touch. And I can't, dude. I want to like his fights because I like the way he banters a little bit. But man, it's hard to watch him fight. bring your bicycle next time because you're fucking driving me crazy the way you run around.
It is funny because that actually is. I agree with you, and I don't want him to fight Ian Garry for two reasons. Real quick, it is funny that Belal has a reputation for being boring as shit, when Ian Garry is the boring one.
Yeah,
he doesn't engage. He doesn't. Ever since Song Kanan almost knocked his head off, he has not been like, let me get after it and try to find this finish. But I don't want Belal to fight Ian Garry for different reasons. I think Belal hopefully won over a whole bunch of new fans. The guy was in a dogfight. He kept moving forward. His nose was in 9 different directions. There was blood everywhere. He was a mess, and he kept moving forward. He kept trying. Hopefully he has a bunch of new fans. What the UFC normally does, the UFC already decided Belal's not going to get a rematch, which is kind of fucked because that was a great fight. It wouldn't be absurd to run that back. There is a small faction of people coming in, a couple in the comment section here, that thinks Belal won rounds, 1, 3, 4, whatever it is. Some people think Belal won the fight. Not a very small percentage, but some people think he won the fight. I don't think it's absurd to run that back. So I don't think he should fight Ian Garry because the UFC's normal MO for somebody they don't really like very much, like Belal, is just give him a bunch of losses and get him out of here. The fall from grace is very steep. He's in Sean Brady will beat, like all that stuff. So I like the loser of either, Buckley and Usman. I think it's going to be Usman. That's a great fight. An older guy, former champ, work your way back up. Or I do like the Kobe Covington fight. After what we saw from Kobe last time, that guy's done. So squeeze, milk him for another quick, co-main event or a fight night main event. And
well, yeah, I mean, like Kobe will do all the work. He'll cut the promos.
Yeah.
Right. So he'll cut all the he'll do all the work and cut the promos. Belal will just talk shit back, but it will definitely be one of those things. Like there's been animosity between them for years.
Yeah.
So let's see that fight. I do like the Usman fight. If he does lose, then you get one of them a win and you move on. And does Usman continue to fight after that? Who knows?
I can't believe he's fighting now, to be honest with you. It's been a while. So
yeah, it's been a while. But if he loses to Buckley, which Buckley's been on a tear lately, explosive, hard to take down, all of those things. So that's going to be a fun fight to watch. But after that fight, you're going to find out. And in the meantime, or in the what do they call? In the wings out there, right? You got Shavkat just sitting back going, what is it called?
In the wind.
Whatever, no one gives a fuck.
Waiting in the wind.
Out there in the wind, okay? Somewhere in the wind.
It's those Islam head kicks you were talking about.
Yeah, right. There's been a few of them. There's the Yves Edward one, there's the Islam one. There's been a couple. Cain Velasquez kicked me in the head. Fucking yeah, these guys. That leg, man, was fucking one of the heavy ones. It just it didn't land hard. He pulled it, but it just knocked me over because it was heavy, like tree trunk legs. But you got Shavkat just hanging out. Just like, I'm gonna let the dust settle. Whoever decides to, get to the top, I'm gonna fight that person.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'll be. There's a lot of options, which is it's a nice problem to have. If we go back, one more fight to the co-main event, Manon Fiorot and obviously Valentina Shevchenko just absolutely got after it. That was a great fight as well. You could have argued either way for that decision. It did come down, in my mind, it came down to the 5th round. I thought Manon won that 5th round. I thought Manon should have won the fight, but the word robbery is a little too loosely used. I didn't think it was anything absurd. Tie goes to the champ effectively, but I thought Manon won that fight.
Yeah, you did, really.
I'm even though you're significantly older than I am, I have the old school scoring mentality of cage control matters. And there was a plenty of cage control, and she was throwing knees up the middle. So I guess once you remove that from the equation and the only thing that matters nowadays is damage, then yeah, maybe none of that. Maybe she shouldn't have won.
Yeah, since Valentina has since she lost to Alexa Grasso, she just hasn't been exciting. She just hasn't been that same fighter that we had seen coming up. And so I'm not too I don't know. I'm not really high on her, man. So either way, I don't care. I thought she won the fight. And I was a big Valentina fan before she fought Alexa Grasso. But the bottom line is she's kind of wearing on me. All the whining she did after she lost and then the draw. Yeah. It really turned me off. I was high on her as being probably the best female fighter ever, this and that. But I was like, man, now you're starting to be like LeBron. You're like the guys whining and crying about everything, right? When you win, it's all about you, but when you lose, it's everyone else's fault. So the matchup for me next. So I think the women's fights are the easiest ones to do here. I think you have, because we had Natalia Silva
beat Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko beat Manon Fiorot. I think you have winner, winner, loser, loser. I think that's the easiest thing to do. I will say, though, winner, winner makes the most sense. Natalia Silva should fight for the belt. She should fight Valentina Shevchenko next. I don't even know what other fight you would do.
Yeah.
But loser, loser is tricky because Manon Fiorot will beat a very small Alexa Grasso. So now Alexa Grasso's on a 3-fight skid and hasn't won a fight in like 3 years at that point. So you're basically being done with Alexa Grasso if you go loser, loser, if you do Manon versus Alexa.
It would be a 3-fight skid. Oh, well, yeah, I think she just lost.
Yeah, it would be a 3-fight skid. The fight before that was a draw, and the fight before that was the fluke win to get the title. Yeah. And Alexa carries the flag of a very important country.
Fluke win.
She was losing the fight and then got a submission.
Choked her out.
Yeah, okay, but if I'm beating the hell out of you for 9 minutes,
that's not a fluke. She was able to get to the back and she sunk it in. Valentina's no slouch in the ground. It was not a fluke. She legit beat her.
You win one scramble in a fight that you're losing. That's fluky. It's fluky.
But then it would have been a fluke had she went out and got dominated in the second fight. She didn't.
She did keep it. It was a draw, but a lot of people think that came down to the fifth round.
People at home on the couch don't even know the fucking rules. Fighters been fighting for 20 years. Don't even know the rules. Like don't think that these people at home on their couch know how to score a fight either.
Well, a lot reputable people like myself feel that came down to the fifth round, which clearly was won by Shevchenko. But neither here nor there. So
I think wasn't there a point taken? I thought Valentina had a point taken. That's why, and then I think that's why people were controversial. Like Valentina should have won had a point not been taken. I think that's why. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm forgetting now. Jacob's correcting me, by the way. I said she won a scramble, and Jacob said she took her back off a spinning kick. You sloth. All right.
Jacob, I'm glad you're listening, buddy, man. I'm looking forward to doing a show with you here. We'll have to kick Angelo off one day and just bring you on.
No, two little guys ganging up on the big one. I get it.
Anyway. Look, obviously, I think this fight makes itself. Natalia Silva right there at the top. And she's going to fight Valentina next. Manon Fiorot, I think she fights the winner, Blanchfield and Barber. Which makes sense. Which I hope, because I believe that Manon Fiorot and Blanchfield have already fought. I'd like to see Macy Barber probably get that win against Blanchfield, and we'll see what happens. But I think I'd like to see Mano and Barber in a good fight.
Yeah, I think that would make sense, and only because I don't want to see Alexa Grasso lose again. I think Manon beats her. So let's get Alexa somebody else. Let's give her somebody that she could potentially beat. And if she doesn't beat somebody who isn't number 1 or number 2 in the world, then yeah, not the division for you. But if she does, then it's like, okay, she can hang and maybe she's number 5 in the world. I just hate how the UFC spends a lot of time, oftentimes, just like, all right, we're going to milk you. We're going to get every dollar out of you. And then we're going to, that's going to be it for your career.
That's the sport business, buddy.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what sport you're in. That's how it works. You've got Zahabi, and then obviously Jose Aldo. He stepped away. He's going to retire. What do you have for Zahabi?
For Firas Zahabi, so obviously that Jose Aldo fight. Oh, yeah, Amen. Sorry, the brother. He called out Cheeto Vera, right? He said, I want Cheeto. I believe Cheeto's booked, and I don't want to see that fight. I said Rob Font. I think Rob Font's good. Rob Font's also older. Rob Font coming off a decent win over Jean Matsumoto. I don't think he won that fight, but they gave it to him. I think him versus Amen Zahabi would make some sense.
So, look, I like that idea as well. I came up with Figgy. If Figgy's knee's not too damaged, I like the Figgy. Figgy's also older as well. But let me throw in there Henry Cejudo. Can he handle someone that can wrestle at Henry's level? And how will Henry do against somebody who's a big body frame? Somewhere in there.
I think that would make sense. I think that would make sense. I didn't consider Henry Cejudo, but I do want to see Henry get a win, and I think that's a win. So I think that could make sense. I did like the Rob one a little more though.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why, because I had said Rob earlier and Figgy, the reason why I got away from that and went with Henry is And I also went with Figgy on this, but look, you just beat Jose Aldo, who's considered to be the GOAT at 145. You got to keep the name value going. And so name value means you probably should fight Henry next. You just beat Jose Aldo, then you're going to fight Henry, and that puts you in that conversation of, look, he just beat 2 big profile guys if he's able to get past Henry.
Yeah.
So then now if you're the UFC, you can do something with that. I can market that. You know what I mean? So you got Henry after Henry's number 9, you know, and then you can work your way up into someone like a Figgy or someone like a Song Yadong, which I think Song's going to make it a pretty good run here. He'll probably get the next title shot after Corey.
Yeah, I mean the Figgy matchup for Amin. Here's my problem with Amin. I don't think Amin's very good. I think he's been getting favorable matchups. I think he's gotten a couple gift decisions. I don't think he beat Garam when he fought, or not Garam. I don't think he beat Javid Bajarat in that fight. I don't think he beat Jose Aldo the other day. Obviously, that was all.
I didn't think he beat him either. Big John thought he did too, but John gave me every fucking apparent rule decision ways to make it shape his argument. I wasn't buying any of that shit. I was like,
yeah,
John.
I mean, it's funny because Jacob saw something and then texted it to me, and he was like, if you take the Aldo Sahabi fight and you reverse it, where Aldo's dying in the beginning, getting smoked, whatever, and then at the end of the round gets that soccer kick, if drops him, almost finish him, Aldo wins that round 10 out of 10 times. So why is he so penalized that happening in the beginning of the round? And obviously we know judges only care about what happened at the end, but I was of the mindset that Jose Aldo did it to himself, right? He got so tired he did it to himself. But at the same time, I thought he won round 1 and 2, so it shouldn't have mattered. And apparently it did matter. So,
but I mean, he soccer kicked him in the face, put him down, and he got back up and he kneed him in the head, knocked him into the fence. Like, that to me is true damage. Like, he had him on ice skates. Sure, he tired himself out. Went to the ground, all of those things. But like, you took elbows. He took like 2 or 3, like 3 or 4 hard elbows. One cut him open, made it look bad. And John was giving me this argument about like, oh, well, he looked exhausted. I don't give a shit what he looked like. He was never almost knocked out like Zahabi was. Like, he was, basically he got kicked in the face, hit his head on the fence, and it woke him up. Like, Aldo was never out. That to me was like, that's where the damage was, when you got put flat on your back.
I think part of that problem too wasn't Dan Mergley out of the ref, and he at no point did he have any sense of urgency, like, I should probably stop. He was just letting Amin get smacked around and bounce all over the place. Like, he never was like, I'm about to stop it. He just sort of let it happen. So I think, and if you got 10 different referees, I think 8 of them would have stopped it when Zahabi just fell like a tree and then got kicked in the head and then fell on the other side. It was a mess. Aldo retired. That is what it is. But I part of me doesn't want to give Amin Zahabi a notable matchup because it's like, I don't know if you've earned it.
Got it.
The other part of me is like, give him somebody that'll beat him convincingly so we can be done with this experiment.
I mean, you could match him up with like a Kyler Phillips. Somebody like that.
You love throwing that dude's name out here all the time.
Well, because like Kyler Phillips is a very well-rounded fighter.
Yeah.
Not ranked. Yeah. He's number 12 or whatever, ranked number 12. I mean, that's somebody in there. I know you just beat Jose Aldo, who's number 11, but it was pretty obvious you were struggling with a guy who's 37 years old, and you were able to take his shots at the end, which was remarkable. But I mean, his prime is obviously way behind him, Aldo's, and he had an early prime, 24, 25, 26, 27. Those were like his glory days.
Yeah.
Got into the 30s. Man, he was pretty much, it's like a Muay Thai fighter. Like, when they hit 19, they're done. They've got 600 fights at 19 years old. They're exhausted.
Well, and he obviously Aldo had a horrible training camp too, because he was 8 pounds overweight. So they had to adjust the entire weight class for the fight and all of that. So, the circumstances were pretty annoying as an Aldo fan and watching that fight. Streamline Gaming said Ricky Simone. That's not a terrible matchup. Ricky could use a good quality win. We could just be done with the Amin Zahabi experiment of it all. So I don't hate that matchup either, but I do not want to give him a big name. I think Rob Font was as high as I would go on that list because Rob Font just got a questionable decision, and we'll let the MMA karma sort itself out.
So we've already talked. Natalia Silva goes to Valentina. Do we agree on that?
Yeah. Who else? It has to be. I don't know who else has done enough to earn.
Well, they were talking about Whaley coming up in weight.
Nah.
And fighting. I have no interest to see that. Like Whaley lost to Rose Namajunas. And and Rose has got a bigger body frame than Whaley. I don't think she has a chance against Valentina or any of the girls in that. Like, I don't think she beats Manon Ferro. I don't think she beats any of those girls that are there in that weight class. I mean, she can maybe beat one or two somewhere in there, but like if we're talking, like she might be able to be Alexa Grasso only because she's fast and she can wrestle a little bit because she avoided the submissions. Manon Ferro, I don't think she beats her. I don't think she can take her down.
No.
She's a weight bully, Manon is. So I don't think she beats
huge.
her. Blanchfield, maybe a possibility. Macy Barber, possibility. Natalia Silva, no. I think that she's just so much movement. You're gonna have a hard time getting in on her. You're gonna have a hard time getting her down. Anyways, I look at Silva and Valentina fighting Alexa Grasso. For Alexa Grasso, who do you have?
For Alexa Grasso, that's what I was kind of talking about before. I don't want to give her Manon Ferro because I don't want to see her lose for two reasons. One, I enjoy watching her fight. Two, she is an important name for the UFC. Yeah. She's popular, she's pretty, and she's Mexican, and that's a giant market that they're really trying to expand into.
Mexican, it goes pretty, then it goes Mexican, then it goes popular.
Yeah,
she's a dime piece, bro. There's no way about it.
Well, and she she's marketable, she's nice, all the things. So if you give her Manon Ferro and she's just going to get bullied and pushed around, that's a problem. 3 losses in a row. I don't want to see the Branchfield fight. I don't want to see the loser of Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena. So I think you work your way down, or not Juliana Pena, sorry, Pennington. No, who the hell's Kayla Harrison? Isn't Kayla Harrison? Who's she fighting again?
Pena. Juliana.
Yeah, Pena. Okay, yeah. Sorry, my bad. I'm right. So I think you have to work your way down. And I'd like to see her just get a win. Give her this is probably too far. I mean, Macy Barber's number 4.
You didn't do any research.
No, because I
have the name logged up.
I said winners, losers. But Jacob, now I'm looking at
you got to deal with right now. This is what you got to deal with, Jacob. Like this, unprepared. He's unprepared.
I am the prepared one between Jacob and I. So I would go because now I'm looking at the rankings. I would give her, because I want her to get a win. So give her Rose Namajunas. I'd give her Rose Namajunas.
Really?
Because
you think she can beat Rose?
If she can't beat Rose, then leave the division.
Oh, where's she gonna go?
Back down.
Like you're ready just to write her off because she just lost her title. And then she's got 1 loss now, and then 2. Like, really, you're ready to ride her? She lost to the champion, who many thought was the best female fighter ever. She lost to her, and she fought her 3 times in a row. She beat her, draw, and then lost her. Come on, man! And you're ready? He's like, leave the division. So where the hell is she gonna go?
Back down to her original weight class. She's from the 115-pound weight class. Yeah. She moved up
and became champion there.
Off a fluke. So it's either here's the names under her. Manon, I think keep in mind, I don't want her to lose. That's what I'm working on here.
But then don't put her against Rose Namajunas.
You don't think she beats Rose Namajunas?
No, Rose's movement. No, we just saw she had a hard time with Natalia Silva and her movement. Rose Namajunas has great movement.
They're the same size, though. That's why I like that matchup. They're both 115-pounders that moved up.
Rose was the former champion at 115.
Correct. Years ago. Yeah. And now she's just the shell of what she was.
Bro, get out of here with that nonsense.
All right. So who do you think she fights? The winner of Blanchfield and Barber, or the loser of Blanchfield?
No. I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna go 2. Okay. I'm gonna give you guys this. She could probably fight Jasmine Jasovicius because she just coming off
loses that fight.
Oh, are you 100% sure?
Yes.
She's no slouch on the ground. She's not the easiest person to take down. But I'm gonna do one better. Right, I'm gonna do one better. And I'm gonna go way down. But you want to get her a win.
Yeah, let's do it. Casey O'Neill. Let's do it.
I could market the shit out of this. Alexa Grasso and Tracy Cortez.
She might lose that one too, but yes.
2 dime pieces on
and do it Noche UFC in September.
Exactly. That would be the spot. Like you put them on there. That sells. There's no way of going like think about. I mean, like that. I would just put those two on the poster. That's it. Like I wouldn't put any other fighter on the poster.
Just no names. Yeah, no names.
Just those two.
Yeah.
That's it. That
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
And that's another.
They're both gonna stand and bang.
Tracy's a grappler.
Tracy stands, bro. What are you talking about? Her last couple fights has been stand up.
So you do this for a living? You sit here, you talk about fights for a living,
bro. She can stand. So stand. Mexican, bro.
I think
she's Mexican.
Listen, I don't hate that matchup, and that's the same logic to me. Where if you can't beat Tracy, that's number 8 in the world. You probably have to go back down to the division. So I'm good with Tracy Cortez or a Rose because they're still matchups that at least make sense on paper, right? They're not like egregious matchups, and she could have success in either one of them. The Rose one I like just because they're the same size. Where Alexa's a little small, and once you get to the top of this division, they're big as shit.
Tracy's not a big girl, bro. Like
no. I know. That's why I'm talking about the higher rank than her. Natalia Silva just beat her, obviously. Macy Barber's not small. Aaron Blanchfield's just going to squeeze the shit out of her. Amanda Farrell's a giant beast. So then you have Rose, Andrade, which you could do Andrade, but yeah, I mean, Andrade's just a punch bag. Yeah, and
right now she just doesn't even. She's just collecting checks right now. She's like, wherever the money's coming from, give it to me.
Yeah, 100%. So I think you and I are split on this one, but Tracy Cortez or Rose makes sense for us.
Okay. And then you brought Benoit Saint Denis.
Oh, dude, listen, my take on Benoit, that T is silent. My take on the Benoit Saint Denis fight, I think that dude's overrated as shit. He was supposed to slaughter that kid. That kid, they scraped him up off the street 4 days ago. And he's getting to the second. He was getting tagged. Like, obviously, he won the fight. It didn't look like he wasn't going to, but he was getting tagged. Prepelic was like landing big shots on Benoit Saint Denis to the point where it's like, dude, like, what? You're a minus 1,500 favorite and you're getting bombed on to the point where he was like, hey, let me wrestle. So I think Benoit Saint Denis is overrated. Let's just do the matchup that was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be him and Joel Alvarez. Just do that.
Let me ask you this. If you showed up to a game, like let's say basketball, did you ever play basketball? You're what, 6'4"? You should have played.
I wrestled and I played lacrosse. That's it.
Okay. So, but I'm gonna use basketball as an example. You showed up. If you wrestled, let's use you wrestling as an example.
Sure. Yeah.
If you showed up and say, hey, you're gonna wrestle Josh Thomson. Okay. And then you'd never seen, and all of a sudden I show up and I'm like, you know what? I'm not, it's the day of the fight, day of the match. And I show up and I'm like, you know what? My ankle's hurting a little bit, or my low back is hurting a little bit, or my vag is hurting a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let my buddy over here. His name's Islam. You've never seen him fight before or wrestle before. I'm gonna have him go against you. My point is that when you don't know anything about this guy, he doesn't know anything about him. He probably looked him up on YouTube. He's like, look, got like 4-year-old fights on there that he could take a look at and be like, you know what? Sure, I got this guy. I can fight him. No idea what to expect. Give the guy some credit. He did what we were just talking about with the guy that did the super chat, Connor. That's what makes it so difficult to say whether you're going to do something and do it. Show up and fight. He was there. He was ready to fight. He did his job. He won the fight. There's days where I know that guys, they prepared for the same guy for 8 weeks. And you wake up the morning of and you're like, fuck, man, I just don't feel like fighting today. And when you can still get a win on those days, you're something special. So he probably had no idea how to fight this guy. Didn't know what this guy's power was. Didn't know what to expect. There's not a lot of footage on him that was recent from like less than 2 years ago because I looked the guy up because I'd never heard of the fucking guy. He fought in Bellator. Who the fuck is this guy? Fought in the UFC. Who the fuck is this guy? Never heard of him before. Don't remember him at all. None.
So you think, I understand the point you're making. You think as someone who has fought and been around this sport, you think, because there's two schools of thoughts here, that your game plans don't matter. I don't care. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. I'm going to do me and whatever. Or there's the other side where it's all comes down to we built a game plan specific for this person. You're more in that camp that game plans should be built for people.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, but here, look, when you've had as many fights as I have, right? There's probably 10 to 14 fights that are not on my record that people don't see because it was before the internet. That's how fucking long I've been fighting. And I was fighting like every weekend on these small shows, driving to Oregon, driving to Washington, Montana, Utah, like fights that aren't on my record because there was no internet and there was no video footage of the promotion. Like it was like done with the old digital or not digital VHS, like little small, yeah, one of these ones. So that being said, like I look at, there was just no way for him to kind of mentally be prepared for this. I think every fighter prepares however they prepare, right? They look, I'm going to do me. But when you have a lot of footage on somebody, you say, okay, look, I've got to make a tweak here to my training and a tweak here to my training. So I'll give you an example. When I had trained with Gilbert Melendez for about 2 years before we fought the first time, I felt his power in his right hand. So my game plan was basically circle away from his right hand. Just circle away. Lots of body kicks, lots of head kicks, keep his hands loyal. But I didn't change the way I fight. I literally just made one adjustment. When you see that somebody's good at something, you make a tweaker here and there. But I still grappled my rounds. I still did my wrestling. I still sparred 5 times, or 3 times a week. I still did everything that I did and just focused on me. But I made a tweak here and there that I thought would be the improvements of it. And it worked. Those are the things that I think, when you're fighting somebody like Benoit had to fight this guy on last minute. I can't even remember the fucking guy's name. So it just comes down to he didn't have an opportunity to make any tweaks. He doesn't know how fast the guy is. He has nothing to compare him against. Because there's nothing. No, he hasn't fought anyone in the UFC that's recent. Those guys are hard.
I understand the logic, but if we take anybody, hold on, let's look at the top. What is that? Lightweight. Let's look at Benoit Saint-Denis is ranked 13.
Mm-hmm.
If you take Michael Chandler's a bad example. If we take Rafael Fiziev, and he's supposed to fight Fiziev, and he's supposed to fight an actual name, and he's an underdog because he's fighting somebody really fucking good. And then they're like, here's a regional kid who we gave a shot to, and he lost that shot twice, but here he is. He's not great at anything. He's not a nasty wrestler. He's just whatever. You think Fiziev is just going to get bombed on with overhand rights until he has to turn into a wrestler? I get your point.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that DJ had to fight coming off the Ultimate Fighter? Something Elliott. Tim Elliott. Wasn't that a close fight? He only beat him 3-2, I think, in that fight.
Tim Elliott's a nasty wrestler. He's very
Tim
good
Elliott
at
was on the Ultimate Fighter. He won the Ultimate Fighter, got a shot. Wasn't a great fight. It wasn't even ranked in the top 15.
Plenty of Ultimate Fighter.
Was never ranked in the top 15.
He's ranked in the top 15 right now.
Was never ranked in the top 15 when he fought that fight. So you're saying DJ?
I just made up. He's not ranked now.
Who people say is the GOAT? DJ. People are talking about him being the GOAT because he's the only one that has tested clean. It's like people call him the GOAT. But you're basically the guy wasn't even ranked in the top 15. Comes in, gives DJ a hard fight.
My analogy is he had a week. So it's not what Islam dealt with. What Diego Lopez actually, the argument you're making is perfect for what Diego Lopez did with Dan Ige. Another very good fighter, last minute, 5 hours notice. It is what it is, and people trash Diego. He's tired. That is a perfect argument for that. But if I'm taking a top 15 fighter on planet, you look at a globe, because the earth is round, Josh, despite what you want to tell people. If you look at a globe, and on that planet,
a globe? What the fuck is a globe?
A globe.
A globe. Okay. Sounds
because the earth is round. You are of the earth is flat mindset.
Okay, here. You use Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez comes in on short notice, fights Evloev, who was in the top 10. Basically everyone was like, dude, this guy. It was a regional guy.
Sure.
Fight on short notice. You're discrediting Evloev because he went the distance and almost beat Evloev. He was ranked in the top 15 or top 10. Sorry, top 10, and couldn't finish him. And many thought he lost.
Listen, that's a good argument. So I'm just going to ignore it and move on. My point is, I just felt like Benoit Saint-Denis, a minus 1,500 favorite's a little overrated. He didn't even almost lose the fight. I was just shocked at how many giant right hands that dude was eating to the face. And if you listen to the corner of Prepelec, his corner, they went into that thinking they were going to lose. His corner was literally like, okay, you know the plan. All we can do is what they call it, sweet chin, sing that sweet chin music or whatever. Like they literally went into that like, hey, we got an opportunity. I'm just so happy to be here. They didn't go into that being like, no, we know who we are. We're going to win this fight. And he was having more success than he should have. All of this to say, I think Benoit's a little overrated. And if he submission. All of this is to say Benoit is ranked 13. I think if he works his way up, you know what? Fuck it. Here, I said do the Joel Alvarez fight. I change it.
Who?
Give him your boy Michael Chandler.
There you go. I like that. I agree with you. I think the Chandler fight, I want to see, like I said, soak that last little bit of excitement out of Michael Chandler. Both of them are very hittable. Both of them will take a shot, give a shot. Just fuck it. Throw it out there. That's one of those fights. Maybe you can have them main event a fight at like an Apex or something. Or they could be the opening fight on a card, on a big card, on a main event, on a pay-per-view, or they could be the prelim fight that goes into the pay-per-views. I think that's the fight to have. Definitely.
Yeah, that fight would be fun. I mean, they booked him versus Joel Alvarez. I thought Joel was going to win that fight, and then watching him versus Prepelec, Joel definitely wins that fight.
Yeah, Joel's tough, man. He's long, he's lanky, he's a great stand-up. He's good everywhere. Knees to the dome is definitely what I'm thinking. Joel Alvarez he's gonna mollywop him.
Yeah, and Joel's only issue is he can't get takedowns or defend them, but it won't matter because if he gets on the ground, he's a good grappler. And if he stays standing, he's a way better striker.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna let's go into these two last ones with Malat. Who do you give him? Just Malat and just we'll go Jasmine Jasavicius too. Just those two fights.
If we go Malat, hold on, I gotta do the picture. Really make this official. If we go Malat, first of all, I was surprised that Malat won the way he did. I thought he was gonna win. I assumed it was gonna be a decision. I was surprised he was able to do what he did. I don't know if Malat is quite ready for a ranked opponent just yet. So, Vicente Luque.
Okay. I'm going to throw a name out there who just fought last weekend because they're on the same timeline is D-Rod.
Okay. Good striker, durable-ish guy. Yeah, I think that could be a fun fight because I don't want to rush Malat. He's a good-looking dude. He has exciting fights. You don't. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to push him too much too fast to get that loss. So I think D-Rod would make sense. That should be a pretty straightforward win for him. And if he doesn't win that fight, then you got to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the D-Rod thing will push him. D-Rod can take a shot. D-Rod can give a shot. And we've seen that D-Rod's not going to really wrestle him a whole lot. He's going to stand and trade with him like he did with the other old guy. What's his name?
Papa. Who just fought
Ponzinibbio. Yeah, so I mean, like there's fights to be had there. I think with Malat and D-Rod, that'd be a fun fight. It gives you a little bit of name recognition. I was giving D-Rod somebody else a little bit higher up in the rankings. But D-Rod's 38 years old. What's he got to lose? Like, go ahead and fight him in the rankings if you want. But I look at Malat, I'm like, let's slow play him because, like you said, he is a little bit younger. Got a good look to him. Got a whole country behind him. He helps sell the pay-per-views. And the fact that the Radke fight and the way that this whole thing worked out, where talking shit about, booing the national anthem, and now you've made him even more of a superstar in that country. So that worked out perfectly. So they're going to want to protect him a little bit. Give him somebody like a D-Rod who will stand and trade with them, make it a fun fight. But ultimately, Malat should get the win. Should. Not saying he will, but should. Jasmine Jasavicius, who do you think?
Yeah, so Jasmine should now be ranked 7. She beat Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is 7. The way that works is you take that ranking. So that sort of limits your options a little bit. And Jasmine is now on a 5-fight win streak and seems to be getting better with every fight. She has lost to Tracy Cortez, who oddly enough is ranked behind her. So if you're moving up the rankings instead of backwards, I think you can give her that Rose Namajunas fight or the loser of Barber and Blanchfield. That they're ranked 3 and 4. The loser will still be highly ranked.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I think the Rose Namajunas fight makes the most sense. I said this to John also. I said, like, the reason being is because Jasmine's loss is to Tracy Cortez.
Yeah.
And Rose beat Tracy Cortez. So when you have that, like, you're trying to do the MMA math, you're like, look, I guess for a way for Jasmine to kind of get that Tracy Cortez behind her to make her feel like that loss was a fluke. That's her that's her only loss in the last 8 fights. You get a win over Rose Namajunas, that kind of makes you feel better about losing to Tracy. Like, look, I beat Rose, who beat you. Now I know I'm ready for someone like a Macy Barber or Aaron Blanchfield. Ultimately, I like to see Blanchfield and Jasmine end up facing off against each other.
Yeah, a couple people in the comments said that as well. I want to see Aaron and Jazz personally.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting matchup because you have a wrestler versus a grappler, right? Aaron's not much of a wrestler, but phenomenal jiu-jitsu. And we may end up with a striking match, or Jasmine will be fighting for her life on the ground. Either way, that could be a pretty exciting matchup. So
Yeah.
I don't hate that either.
No, so I think she still needs a little bit more work. Jasmine does. Give her a little bit. I give her the Rose fight. Somewhere in there. Yeah, that Rose fight, or she could fight the loser of the Barber and Aaron Blanchfield fight. She could.
Yeah,
I'd like to try to keep her on a win track, and fighting someone like a Rose Namajunas with a big name kind of catapults her into possibly fighting the next number 3, number 5, number 4, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 100%, because ranked below her is Vivian Araujo, which, I don't think anybody cares about that. Tracy Cortez, who she already lost to. Karini Silva, who I believe is coming off a loss. She beat Miranda Maverick. Casey O'Neill is the only person ranked below her that, Casey O'Neill's coming off an underdog win, I don't know, 4 months ago or something like that. But I agree. Let's keep working her up. She's on a 5-fight win streak. That's not nothing. All of a sudden, it's 6 over a top 6 or 7 fighter in the world. Yeah. Then we're talking about Jasmine, because Jasmine's not young either. You don't necessarily have time to slow play. She's 36.
Oh, is she? I didn't realize she was that old.
Yeah, no, she's not young. And obviously women can fight a little longer and they don't age out as quickly, but she's not exactly, 20 or early 30s.
Damn.
She's
only
getting
10 years younger than you. It doesn't look like it.
It is crazy because we both look like you would think you put me next to Mike Malott, you wouldn't know who's who. So I get
you're right.
Yeah.
Ultimately though, look, I think there's a lot of these fights wrote themselves for us. I mean, pretty much, they kind of had feeder fights. We understood like these two were matched up, then the winner of this. And Dana's kind of made it pretty clear that, certain fighters will end up fighting each other. Like we already kind of knew if JDM won, he's going to fight Islam.
Yeah.
If Belal won, then, Islam was going to fight someone else, and Belal would end up probably fighting Shavkat or Sean Brady. So we kind of knew how that was going to all pan out. But yeah, I mean, look, overall, I was a pretty impressive card. What'd you think of the card itself? Give me like a rating between 1 and 10.
I thought it was between 1 and 10. I'd say 7, because the main card really picked it up and got pretty tense. So I'd say a 7.
A 7?
What'd you give?
Right. Yeah, I was somewhere around there. Look, I had that early fight. I think it was Santos.
Daniel Santos and Jeong Lee.
Yeah, damn, that was such a good fight. Damn good fight. I mean,
that was a short notice, showed up on short notice and just bullied the much bigger dude.
But it was awesome, man. He fought his ass off. He fought a great fight. It was fun to watch. I was like, damn, this little guy. And he's normally a 35-pounder. Went up to featherweight.
Yeah, he went up short note. Like
I hadn't seen him fight before. This was the first time. I mean, maybe I have, but I just didn't remember him. He didn't stick out to me. But yeah, I don't know if he's big enough to stay at 45, but man, he looked good.
He looked real small in that fight, but yeah, he made he's a typical shooter box guy. He comes out guns blazing, but he typically fades. And this was short notice, and he didn't really fade. So this could go back to what started this whole thing was like, the Frankie Edgar logic of like cutting weight is stupid. So all of a sudden he's on short notice, up a weight class, didn't really cut much weight, and looked great.
Yeah,
cardio didn't fade.
Greatest line of the night though by DC.
What did he say?
About Santos. Oh, he looks a little soft around the belly, but he's like, I'm not someone to be talking about someone's body. Bro, that was great. I almost spit my fucking drink out listening to him talk. It was fucking funny.
That's right, because I saw your tweet. I didn't hear that because I saw your tweet being like, is DC really talking about somebody else's body?
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what the context was.
It was funny. Yeah, he goes, yeah, I'm not someone that should be talking about other people's bodies. And I thought it was hilarious.
I told you, DC's the best commentator in the bunch.
I don't know. I look more for the technique of it all. I mean, he's got the most vocal voice. I mean, even now, like he's kind of sometimes will, dominate, when like Rogan's around a little bit. So, but yeah, he does. I like Paul Felder. I like Paul's knowledge in the sport. I like Dom every once in a while when he's not trying to prove that he's right.
That is the problem. When it's Dom and DC, it's just like a pissing contest who's smarter, but it's mostly on Dom's side. It's not really DC doing it. Yeah. It's really Dominic like trying to prove himself. It's like, what are we doing? Relax.
We're all little guys, man. Us little guys. We got this.
That's what it is. Yeah.
We're born with it. So overall, though, good night of fights. I had it around a 7.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Gave it. There were some good fights. That Santos fight to me, though, got me kicked off. I was like, okay, I'm ready for the start. You know, then
Yeah,
the Mike Watt fight kind of rekindled the fire a little bit with the vicious knockout on the ground and kind of put it fully away. But I mean, didn't really need to follow up all that much. You know, and then the main card had some good fights, man. I mean, it was good. It was decent. I was cheering for fucking Aldo. I wanted Aldo to get it done, man. I wanted him to get it done.
When he almost finished Amen, like we were just screaming, like, oh my God. Like it was awesome. And that's what makes this sport so incredible is, you know, a close fight, almost a finish. Then the term is death gas. I have never seen a more like a personification of that word. How about that personification? I've never seen a more personification of that word in my entire life. Like Jose Aldo death gassed. Like he literally was like, I'm done. I'm gonna lay down. I'm done. I'll survive. And it was just like, dude, like she just laid. He's lucky the ref wasn't like, you're not fighting. This is
you just hit. Honestly, there's times in your career, like as you get older, like you just don't feel like being there anymore. Dude, I mean, there's been moments in my training, I'm just like, I don't want to do this shit no more. Like, I mean, when I started getting those thoughts in my head, fighting and training, I'm like, it's time to hang it up. It's getting time. It's getting time. But then you just, you realize you have a contract that's worth, $1 million still sitting there. And you're like, fuck, I need
a lot of money to not. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, there's a lot of money just to leave on the table. And that's painful sometimes.
Especially because it's not like Jose, you could argue that he got screwed in his last fight. You could argue he got screwed by Zahabi. Before that, he beat Jonathan Martinez. Before that, he was on a really long win streak that ended up coming to an end because Merab just held him against the cage for 15 minutes. So it's like, it's not like he's getting knocked out and it's like, he's not Tony Ferguson the end of his career. Like these are decisions that should have gone his way and he's looking pretty good, but he looked pretty defeated in there. He's like, I'm done. And obviously he retired, but he seemed pretty defeated.
Yeah. He just hasn't been the same fighter since he stopped kicking. Like something's going wrong.
Yeah. What's with that?
From what I understand, it's something to do with his hips.
Oh,
so, and I was telling John about this too. I go, look, I had a coach that came in and my kickboxing coach was with me for like we trained together because he was still fighting. But when he started kind of fully around coaching, Javier would hold for me for pads and he would do more of the power and the game plan and the technique. But I had a straight Muay Thai coach, somebody who just worked on the pads. We worked combinations, all different. The whole Nate Diaz head kick setup, that was all done, with him and working that game plan. But every time I'd come in, I'd jump rope, I'd warm up and stretch. But every time we got inside the ring, he'd go, okay, 10 head kicks, right leg, 10 head kicks, left leg, like speed kicks. And I got towards the end at like 35, 36 years old. I'm like, I can't do this, man. Like, I need more time to warm my hips up. Like, he's like, oh, come on. I just remember like moments going like, this is not good. Like my body's not really getting my leg up there. I need more time. And so we had a long conversation about it. But I just know that like you just can't, your body can't do it. And he's got hip problems. The way he kicked his whole career, he spent hours and hours kicking a heavy bag. I'm not convinced that kicking a heavy bag is good for you, period.
You just get hip dysplasia like an old dog, just like.
Yeah, you need something that has a little more give because just that stop of your leg on a heavy bag is just not good. Like Thai pads give, those softer, big circle Fairtex bags, they give, your shin goes into it more. Now, if you want to just condition your skins with like a sandbag or something where you just touch it nice and lightly to condition your skins, that's different. But like, I mean, I remember having moments where I was full blown kicking a heavy sandbag where my shins were like basically purple by the time I got done. I'm thinking to myself at the end, as I got older, I was like, fuck, my hips, man, would hurt for like a day or two. And now I know why. Like for him, he's got to be that way. Because there was a story Bobby Southworth fought in the Ultimate Fighter 1. And we used to train with him. Bobby was 40 years old, almost 40 years old when he was on the Ultimate Fighter 1. John Fitch and I were younger. And we were like trying to jump past his guard, do cartwheels past his guard, all this stuff. And Bobby being 40 and we were like in our 20s, he would complain like, guys, don't do that, man. If I get hurt, I'm pretty much going to have to retire. Like I don't have time to like have a fucking cut under my eye or broken nose. It's like, stop doing that shit. And we would leave practice going, this fucking old fuck, what a pussy. Like this is training. We'd give him a hard time. But when we got to be 36, 37, I was like, dude, don't try and do shit. Like you're trying to jump past my guard. You're trying to like do this. I was like, we used to get mad at him. And John started laughing about how we used to give Bobby a hard time, but now we know why. And so the things that we did when we were younger, I remember when I first started training, I would spar full on with Trevor Prangley, UFC fighter.
He's a
Fought
big
Jeremy
dude.
Horn.
Yeah.
Yeah, big dude. Fucking known him since college wrestling. We wrestled together. We would spar with no mouthpiece, no shin guards, 18-ounce gloves, fucking no headgear, no elbow pads, nothing. We would do everything. Knee in the body, no knee pads. It was nasty. Head kicks, didn't care. Did it all. None of us, we got banged up. But we never got like no broken bones, like that. But just dumb shit that we did, right? We're tough. Stupid as hell. Dumb as hell. Dumb. But
it is crazy to see like your favorite fighters age out, and because you still have they can't talk about Jose Aldo without saying the leg kicks, but he literally hasn't thrown leg kicks in like 4 years. Like, it's been a long time since he's done it. We do have one final super chat here, $2 from PG. Tom versus John predictions.
I don't think the fight happens. There's your prediction. I think John walks away. Just, I think Tom's gonna move on. I think Tom's gonna fight, Cyril Gane. I think he's gonna beat Cyril Gane. And I think after that, he's gonna control the division for a long time. He'll be the champ outside of a fluke. I don't want to say fluke, but
when I say there's no such thing.
Well, no. When people say fluke, it's normally like you got caught coming in with an overhand right, or like something along those lines. You're literally saying like she got to her back, put the hooks in, wrapped the choke on, and finished it. And that's a fluke. There's a lot of
scramble.
There's a lot of steps to get there.
There's more steps than just whap.
Yeah.
Snatching something in a scramble can be fluky.
No, she still had to get the hook. She still had to jump to the back.
That's the scramble. That whole thing is one scramble.
Still had to get the hooks. No, okay, so one scramble. Then she still had to get the arm under the neck. And then she still had to,
it was a whole
had to wrap it. She still had to wrap it and put the hand on the head with gloves. That's so hard. So hard. Because she submitted someone who they thought was the best female fighter in the world.
As a plus 600 underdog, too.
Listen. You guys lost.
I just say fluky because she was losing the fight, wins that scramble, wins the fight. That's why I'm saying.
Do you guys, when you have like a plus 600, or you have like a plus, 1,500 or whatever the guy was that fought Benoit Saint Denis?
Yeah.
Do you guys throw down like $10, $20?
I personally don't. But that's not what normal people do. Like what a lot of people do, they eat plus EV betting. Like the value here is crazy. You got to bet the value. I personally don't, because I can't bring myself to place money on a bet that I don't think hits. Like every single bet that I place, I think hits, whether I'm crazy confident or just a little confident, So I personally don't, but obviously plenty of people do. What I might do in certain situations, if they're durable, then like, a prop bet to be like inside distance decision, no action. But, I mean, there are fist fights. And this year, 2025, we've seen more massive underdogs make it happen than any other year.
Yeah, the sport's changing right now because you got a lot of the older guys that are starting to kind of find their way out. And so those ones now are being used for the younger guys to make a name on. So that's what you're going to see, because they've got all the great fights the older guys do. They're going to be favored, not by much or whatever, maybe by a little bit more than they should. And they end up losing, like in this Aldo situation.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's an interesting place for sure. We have one final, somebody said, can we talk about Angelo on the links? Listen, I wasn't that golf course. I wasn't that bad for somebody who's never golfed.
Can you pull up video footage?
Yeah, I can. Hold on.
Look, let's be honest. Angelo didn't start off very well, but I got to be honest. You finished pretty well. You were hitting the ball pretty solid towards the end.
To me, it felt like it went the opposite direction, because I felt like when I didn't care, hold on, I'm pulling it up. I felt like when I didn't care, I had some success. And then as soon as I started caring, it was like a disaster.
Well, I think it was in the middle. The very first in the beginning, when you didn't care, like in the beginning, the first couple holes.
Yeah.
You weren't hitting the ball very well. And then like rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like those holes, you started hitting the ball well. And then you started carrying, and then you started hitting like shit.
As soon as I started caring, it all went out the window. It was like, what the hell are you doing?
I don't really care. Like for me, I'm just like, I don't care. But I mean,
that's why it was, that's why it was like, here we go. I should be able to show this. No, this. Hold on.
Is all this just on your computer and you can just pull it up?
No, I'm sharing my other screen, but it's not sharing it. Hold on.
This is his way of not trying to show you how horrible he is.
It's in the vlog.
Like his defense.
Share screen.
Oh,
Here we go. All right, here, hold on. This is when you say you're fat, and then it's just.
Did I ever say that? I never say that.
I mean,
that
look,
great. That's not too bad. Oh, that was
just
fucking shank. This is the shank. This is great. These are all going right.
Yeah, that's you.
There we are. Dude, homeboy put a P in my last name. Tell the boy to fix it.
Oh, did he? I didn't even read it. I didn't even read it. I just
This is great though.
Was there a P?
Yeah, what a douche.
Oh, there was a P. That's funny.
What a guy. Man, we had
the funniest one in this exchange was when you and Mike were like, dude, turn your feet. Just turn your feet. You're facing the way. Turn your feet a little bit. And then I hit it. It was like shoom in the wrong direction anyway. It was like, all right, well, that was
no, but you were lined up to hit it like straight right. It wasn't even like a little bit to the. I was like, I can't let him hit like this. I can't let him hit. This is great.
I don't know golf at not even like a little bit. So what's funny is I didn't expect to get railroaded as much as I did, but I got railroaded for just sucking at golf. I expected most people who watched. I expected
up on bad takes.
No, this is in my vlog for UFC 315.
Okay.
It's just like a quick montage of golf, and then the rest of it is like see the rest of the.
Did you pick out your clothes too? Did it show you like you should have videoed that?
This was me getting ready for jiu-jitsu.
Is that your backyard?
This is you've been there.
The soccer, I know, but I've never been there. Oh, you have the soccer goals there.
Yeah, I got it for this one here. She's been and I'm teaching her how to box.
Nice.
See,
this is what I wish I had. Like I like how your backyard set up with the little bigger green space in the back. They took away our green space. I want to kind of bring it back. I may take all the plants out, bushes out that they had.
Oh, it's just it's landscape.
Yeah, it's like we've got a grass strip in the back, but it's not anything like it's not wide like this. But I don't know.
We have no landscape. It just goes house, pool, grass. No,
I like that setup though, because then you can have like a jump house or a water slide jump house thing out there. You can have an area to play in. You know, like my son needs air. He needs more room for his lacrosse stuff.
Yeah, I want to keep it just wide open like this because the kids will play soccer, and then I play my drunken frisbee games. So
what do you guys set? You have your GoPro set up on those stands, or is it your phones?
This is 3 different cameras. This angle right here is a DJI, the one I've used for golf. The little handheld vlog one.
Yeah. I gotta buy one of those. Can you send me a link on that? What it is?
Yeah, I can. I do, because you can use it for vlog. You can use it for anything you want. Vlogging, they're great. They're pretty versatile cameras. Then there is a GoPro on the stick back there, and then there's a drone too.
Got it. Does the microphone come with it, or do you have a separate mic for it?
If you buy the camera that we used, and we use those little mics, they have you can either buy it without the microphones, or you can buy like the content creator package that comes with the microphones.
Got it. Is that what you did?
Yeah, it's like $700. So it's not cheap.
No.
It comes with 2 microphones and all that other stuff. It's not cheap, but I've had it for 3 years now.
Yeah, I've got 4 microphones, but which I don't need. I don't need more. But like
you can pair different. Yeah, these are little Bluetooth ones. You can pair different ones, obviously.
Yep.
But yeah.
All right, my man. Well, hey, great show. Great chatting with you. When are we filming again?
I'm around all week.
Here, so am I. You were gone all last week.
I know. Last week was tough. Tomorrow I'm releasing the weight class one. So the bad takes about should we add weight classes will come out tomorrow, and then we'll hit up some new topics.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Let's do it, my man. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks everybody for the watch. We appreciate you.
Take it.
See ya.